Welcome to week 16 meals of adventures in Groceryland. I'm Melanie from Nova Scotia, Canada, and this is a $21 per person grocery budget. We started with nothing, so we started from scratch. The only things available to us were salsa, maple syrup, and jams that I made myself. So everything else, including basics like salt and pepper, were budgeted into our $42. We have accumulated a very substantial stockpile in just 16 short weeks, so that's just 4 months. And we just wanted to show you what you could do as well. Check out our meals this week. At the end, you'll see everything that we were able to accumulate in the last 16 weeks. Tell me what you think.
I have been waiting for hot dog buns to go on sale. I've wanted hot dogs for a while. We're having them with fried onions. And this is something that speaks to how we shop. We shop when things are on sale. I had the hot dogs in the freezer, but there was no way I was going to pay $4 a package for hot dog buns. So I just waited for the sale, and when it came on, now we're gonna have hot dogs. It's exciting.
I was totally unprepared for lunch today. I didn't make anything. I was just going to tough it out and eat when I got home. And then the McDonald's app, which I have installed on my phone, sent me a luring message that I could get free fries if I just made a purchase of $1 or more. And I didn't have anything and I was hungry. So I went there and I bought a burger, a McDouble actually. I bought a McDouble. It was $2.79 and I got the free fries. And that just goes to show that when you are not prepared, you make bad choices. And it may seem like a luxury, but my belly hurt ever since I ate the McDonald's. Anyways, I had McDonald's for lunch. $2.79, McDouble and a free fry.
This is a little concoction that I'm making. In here is the leftover pulled pork taco from last week. Also, kidney beans, black beans, and corn from the freezer, and the leftover hot sauce salsa mix. So I'm going to cook this all up, and we're going to make pulled pork tacos on naan bread. Pulled pork tacos on naan bread for Taco Tuesday with guacamole and sour cream. And there was enough pulled pork tacos on naan bread to have them for lunch again. Also with Joe Louis. It's going to be a simple supper tonight. Supper tonight is mac and cheese and chicken strips for one, sharp craft dinner and hot dogs for the other. And we have enough for lunches for tomorrow too. It's been a while, so tonight we are going to make poutine, only it's going to be fancy poutines. So there's a restaurant local, and they make something called an everything poutine, and it has, of course, the potatoes, the cheese curds, but it also has ground beef on top of it, peas, it has dressing or stuffing. I don't have any of that, so it'll have to be minus that. I thought that I would maybe put a little bit of this French onion spice in with my meat when I brown it, and also maybe on the potatoes before I cook them. And of course, we are going to have it with a dark gravy. And as part of the gravy, I'm going to use this homemade broth that I made instead of just water. Looking forward to this a lot. everything poutine. So it has the fries, the cheese curds, ground beef, and peas. I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, I'm gonna make some smoothies. I'm not sure how these are gonna hold up by putting them in some cups and taking them for lunches, but I've been a little bit unprepared this week, so I'm gonna use up some supplies. You can see here that I already have some spinach in there. It's the rest of the blueberry yogurt. I put the leftover guacamole in there, so who knows what that's going to taste like, but it needs to be used up. And then in the tub, you can see I've added some water. There's some peanut butter in there, some spinach, and I also opened up the bag of frozen blueberries. Well, I mean, it was opened, but it is the first time that I've used anything out of it since we've been doing the challenge. I just, with the avocado and with the spinach, I'm just trying to keep the berry flavor just to one berry, so just blueberries. So we'll see how this turns out. So far, it looks good. So this is more of along a bluish color since there's no raspberries or cherries in with it. And mixed with the greens, the spinach, and the leftover guacamole. So this is going to be lunch with either some goldfish crackers or maybe some Joe Louis. Okay, I am going to attempt to make veggie burgers for a supper and then leftovers for a lunch. The recipe, I've never made this before, and I got this as a trade. I'm going to say last summer, maybe even longer ago than that. So the recipe calls for 1 cup of cooked quinoa and a cup of grated zucchini. So we don't have any zucchini. I do have this broccoli slaw, so I shredded it even a little bit more than what it is. I'm going to cook that up, and I'm going to use that in lieu of zucchini. This package does not tell me how much to cook to get 1 cup of cooked. So I am cooking just under a cup of dry quinoa, and we'll see how much that gets us. And we'll see what these are like. So far, so good. Bit of a messy flip. They're not holding together the greatest, so cook them a little bit longer maybe on this side, lower heat. Okay, veggie burgers, and the package said that it would make 4 veggie burgers, but it made way more than that, double that. We definitely have enough for supper tonight, another lunch, probably 2 more lunches. It's time to cook a pumpkin. Cleaned out and ready to go in the oven. So I left the pumpkin in the oven a bit too long, as you can see here with that flaky stuff. But it worked out okay. So I baked the pumpkin, and then I used this scoop to scrape off all of the actual pumpkin from the skin, which I have in here. And then I am going to use this little hand blender to blend this up like a puree so that I can use it in the recipe that I need. And I just bought this one time on one of the Facebook yard sale sites. I do that a lot. I'm a second-hander. It actually was in the original box. I think they might have even used it once or twice. I think they had it posted for $15 and I offered them 10. So that was a pretty good deal several years ago, especially for something that I only use every once in a while. So I'll use it, wash it, and then I'll put it back in the box and I keep it in the closet because I don't use that very often. Anyways, here's my pumpkin puree. Or gonna be pumpkin puree. This recipe makes enough that it calls for 2 gram cracker pie crust, 9-inch pie crusts. there's no way that two of us are eating two 9-inch cheesecakes. Plus, it calls for 2 bricks of cream cheese. So I don't want to use all of those supplies. I am going to make half of this package using 1 brick of cream cheese and 1 pie plate. And what I did is I weighed out the pumpkin that I got. Ironically, it was almost exactly the equivalent of one of the large cans. And then I just divided it in 2. I'm going to pop this one in the freezer so that we'll have pumpkin for the next time that we want to make a cheesecake, pumpkin cheesecake. And it's cooling now. Turned out pretty good. And veggie burgers with some sides for lunch. I'm gonna try my hand at the gnocchi tonight. So I've done a lot of reading and looking through recipes and seeing how I want to try it. And we are going to try it at least 2 different ways. This is a 500-gram pack. So I'm going to cook this one. So what appealed to me was a mushroom bacon creamy sauce. I don't have some of the ingredients, but I do have a can of cream of mushroom soup. So I'm going to use mushrooms, onions, bacon bits that I have, and we'll see how it turns out. Boil like pasta and drain them when they start to float to the top. So I guess that means now. All right, so we are going to give this a try. And just cleaning up some leftovers. Made a little bit of rice, went with the leftover Oriental, and the last 2 veggie burgers. We both really enjoyed the baked squash seeds when I made those. So these are the seeds from the pumpkin. I have a little bit of salt on them, and I have also sprinkled them with some red garlic. And we'll bake those, and then those will be available to us for snacks. The pumpkin seeds turned out pretty good. I'm going to try one. Nice and crunchy. I decided we were going to make pizza as normal. Put the dough into the bread maker. Not like normal. This is nuts. Normally this just comes out in one big piece of dough. Sometimes I do have to put a little more flour. I seriously don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the yeast or with the flour or if it's the bread maker. My bread has been crazy. This is, I don't even know. I'm gonna try to salvage this since it was in there for 2 hours and I thought we were having pizza. I had gotten both the square tray and the round pizza pan out because normally I make both of them. But this is literally the worst dough. So this is about what we're going to get. Who knows how this is going to cook, if it's going to stick to anything. I've made a huge mess. Oh my God. So this pizza has on it spinach, frozen peppers from out of my fajita bag in the freezer, frozen jalapenos. It has a hot dog. It has the rest of the pizza pack, like the cold cuts that I cut up and froze. This one has pineapple on it. I opened up the can of pineapple. It has tomato and it has onion and cheese. I used marinara sauce as the spice. Have no idea if it's going to stick to the pan or not. We're going to cook it and see how we make out. The pizza looks okay. We won't know until we try to cut it and eat it. I always love pizza. A quick update of the garden. Chives are doing well. This is the coriander. This is basil. Down here we have the lettuce. Spinach is doing amazing. We have parsley, a few little sage. These are the seeds that got wet. So the onions and the shallots, nothing, but teeny little greens in the bunching onions. So we'll see how that works out. And down here, Swiss chard. This is really something to look at. It was a lot of work to get everything out and spread it out all over the counter, but showing them separately doesn't really have the impact of looking at all of this together. 16 weeks at a $42 budget. Within that 16 weeks, we saved up and made a seafood chowder. And we also saved up, and I have $61 and change, 40 cents or 45 cents in a cup that's going to be for a Valentine's Day charcuterie board. But this is what we have accumulated. This obviously isn't the food that we have eaten, and we've eaten extremely well. We're not breakfast eaters, so for us, this just showed lunches and suppers, but we like to have snacks. Sometimes those were pretty scarce, and sometimes we were able to swing it. So I'm gonna show here really what we have been able to stockpile on a very minimal budget. So if you think that this is something that can't be done, or that you can't live on $21 per person, it just takes a little bit of work. Time is what it takes. So let's just start with some of the freezer stuff. We have 2 packages of the risotto balls, 2 packages of wings, a package of chicken thighs, a package of ground pork, leftover hot Italian sausages, breakfast sausages, bear burger that we received as a gift, 2 chicken breasts left. I made a turkey, and here is 1, 2, 3 packages of turkey left. Plus that right there is the bones, and inside of that bag, there's a small bag filled with turkey for a soup. Those are 2 bags filled with broth from the turkey. Chicken strips. That is a scrap bag, and here is another scrap bag to make broth. This is 1/4 pound of ground beef. We have 1/2 package of cheese curds. We have wieners. We have hash browns. We have 2 pork chops. We have 1/2 can of lobster. We have meatballs. We have an entire ham. We have cut up apples. We have partially a can of red kidney beans and a can of black beans. Here is a prepared package of Morning Glory muffins, the wet ingredients. So it's carrots and apples in there. And here is a fajita pack. So that is peppers and onions. We have jalapeno peppers that I processed, beet greens, oriental vegetables, spinach. We have corn, peas, cut green onions. We have green and yellow beans, broccoli, 2 small packs of processed corn. We have 2 squash. Now we're into the fresh food. We have iceberg lettuce, some leftovers. We have radishes. Down in here, those are nectarines. This is a pack of broccoli slaw, and there is about 3/4 of the pack left. We have a stew pack and 2 carrots, a part of a cucumber. We have 1 full package of cream cheese, a partial package of cream cheese, and some cheese slices. There's leftovers in here. That is bruschetta. In the back here, we have English muffins. There's bananas, and I'm pretty sure there's 4 of them. There's leftover hot dog buns, the remainder of some spinach, leftover piece of baguette. In this container, there's a piece of cabbage, several onions, 2 clementines, a parsnip, and I think 3 avocados. There's an entire pack of bacon. There's milk. And in the container, the yellow one in the back, this is 3% milk, so to make it stretch, I'm taking it out a cup at a time. I'm putting it in that yellow container with the purple lid, and I'm adding a cup of water. And so instead of 3% milk, it's more like 1%. I have eggs, and I think there is perhaps 9 left in there. There's an entire pack of bacon unopened, half a pack of gnocchi, can of tomato soup, the last of the marble cheese. I have naan bread. Underneath there, I have tortillas, some canned goods. We have tomatoes, tuna, tomato paste, canned milk, chickpeas. In the back here, I have mayo. That's not even opened. And then underneath, there's jams. And then there's my open mayo, some pineapple, sour cream, and that is sitting on top of pickles. And there is lime juice and olives. We have ketchup. We have olive oil, soy sauce, mustard, Cheese Whiz, peanut butter, honey, molasses. In the jars in the back, we have some leftover gravy, and we have one of those little containers has some cut up tomato and cut up onions in it. There is syrup, and underneath of the syrup is barbecue sauce. And we have noodles left. We have an entire 10-pound bag of potatoes unopened. We have an unopened package of oats. We have sweet potatoes. In the front here we have spices. These are breadcrumbs that I made from leftover pieces of bread. And this is garlic powder that I made from dehydrating actual garlic. I have beans, split peas, popcorn, spices, beef bouillon, 3 sidekicks. We have lunch snacks. We have lasagna noodles, an entire package of taco shells, crackers, goldfish crackers. I have spaghetti, macaroni, unopened. I have 4 packages of bow ties. Only one of them's been opened. I have Kraft Dinner, brown sugar. Down here is crackers. We have flour, opened macaroni. And I actually made a cheesecake. This is a huge stockpile considering what the budget was and the time frame that we achieved this. I'm really proud of this, and it's something that anybody can do. I took advantage of in-store specials, clearance specials. I took advantage of coupons. I took advantage of point redemption programs at stores. These are all things that anybody can take advantage of. And I just really want to encourage you, if you're thinking that you can't, you absolutely can. You might not be at $21 per person starting out, but you can probably shave, if you're wanting to, you can shave down what you're spending. This is quite a haul. And I keep panning it because I'm really, really, really proud that we have all of this stuff. So after 16 weeks, that is a pretty substantial stockpile.
just think what you could accumulate after a year, or in my case, what I could accumulate in my lifetime. So that being said, you can imagine that I have a substantial amount of food before I ever started this budget challenge in my regular pantry. So now that we have 4 full months, 16 weeks under our belt, and you have seen yourself what you could accomplish in the quantity of food that you can accumulate, we are going to take a little bit of a break. So we're not doing anything next week. Next week will be a break week for us. We will be back, but we will have available to us everything in my house. So no more trying to keep things separate. That's been very difficult. And the more food I have accumulated on the challenge, on the budget, the more difficult it has been to keep it separate from my existing food because I only have so much space. So we are going to take a break. We will definitely be back the week of February 14th with our special charcuterie board, the Valentine's Day charcuterie board. And what we will be focusing on is sales and building your pantry. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the series of videos. And if you like them, I hope you subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Let me know in the comments what you think.